So we are live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Research Leads and today's episode of Market Trailblazers, where we have to discuss a very important topic, which is what businesses need to know about customer experience. So this is a topic that's kind of been so widely discussed on social media and a lot of people talking about it. I have spoken to so many researchers about it and they have spoken to me about it. I have commented, I have shared content. I mean, there's so much information passing around on customer experience, and this seems to be one of the key factors which is decisive in probably in deciding the future of products and services. So companies are paying a lot of attention to it, trying to devise strategies on how to do better at customer experience. I have a subject matter expert on customer experience who will share ideas and thoughts about what today's strategies are and the best things and the best practices for companies to adapt and to do. So I have with me Claire Scott, who is a
Sorry, it's
global
Boscq Scott.
Claire Boscq Scott. I'm sorry, Claire Boscq Scott, who is a global customer service expert, who's a speaker, a consultant, who's a mystery shopping and customer experience franchisor, and she is the best person today to help us and guide us on what is it that we need to know about customer experience. So thanks for joining us, Claire.
Thank you very much for having me.
Welcome to the show. And first thing I'd like to know is, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, your roles, and something that relates to your professional, your experiences so far, and customer experience, and all those areas that I just described?
Sure. So I'm French originally, but I live in Jersey, which is a little island between France and England. It's called the Channel Islands. And Jersey is 9 miles by 5 miles with 100,000 people. So I came to Jersey probably about 25 years ago when I first came out of catering school.
Is that UK territory?
So it's actually independent. So it's a UK. So they speak English in Jersey, but there's a lot of French. It's been over the years taken on by France, taken on by England. It's been a little bit everywhere. And now Jersey is actually independent.
Oh, okay. So it has a government of its own, and
absolutely. So we got our own department, our own government, we've got our own money, and we still depend a little bit under the crown, the Queen's crown, but we have everything else is independent.
Okay, okay.
So it's a beautiful, beautiful island, and I've kind of first came here about 25, 26 years ago to learn English. At the time, I was doing seasonal work. I went to work in America for Disney World for a year. And I think that was the very first time I really kind of got the real understanding of what customer experience was all about. And if you don't, Disney is probably one of the best company in the whole wide world to do this. So I came out of this, and my kind of aspiration was to be to work in hospitality, be a hotel manager. And I came back to Jersey 20 years ago to run hotels here, which I did for about 10 years. And 10 years ago, I just had to, I was at the time in my life where I needed to be around my children as well. Hospitality industry is quite hard, tough industry with the different hours. So I packed up the job and I set up my own business. And at the time in Jersey, there was no one doing mystery shopping. So the measurement of actually, the quality of service, there was no one here doing that. So I've set up the business doing mystery shopping, and it kind of grew from obviously doing the mystery shopping to then helping the businesses with the result to actually saying, well, it's no point to measure if you haven't got to train your staff, but then you realize that the businesses don't actually have standards, or they know exactly what they want or who they want to be. So the journey started with mystery shopping and actually came back to really starting right from the beginning and working with companies from the beginning, who they are, what do they want to be, what are their standards, what
Mhm.
are their KPIs, who do they want to be aspiring to, what kind of service do they want to give to their customers, and
Mhm.
how do they want to treat their employees. Then we can train them, then we can mystery shop them, and then we can do a bit more market research on understanding and listening to the employees and the customers. So it's kind of very quickly the brief of what's how I came about to be here now, and really that passion behind the customer experience.
Right, right, right. Uh, Claire, now see, one observation is that when we're talking about customer experience, it is a certain staff, certain number of people probably at the front end or who are kind of having customer facing roles. I see they are the people who mostly handle that. Is that the right way of doing it, or does the entire organization needs to participate in some way? What is the sequence?
Well, I think you've asked me what are my challenges. One of the question you were, and I think the challenges that I'm facing is a lot of businesses just think exactly what you've just said. We've got front-facing staff; those are customer service.
Right.
And this is it. We'll give them a bit of training, and they're going to be our customer service experts.
Mhm.
And this is just, and this is my battle. New challenge. My challenge is to actually go up the ladder, go up to the board, up to the non-executive directors, up to the leaders, up to the CEOs, and actually tell them, "Oi, everybody, this is your responsibility. If you're not customer focused, if you're not employee focused, if you don't care about your employees or your customers, this is never going to drill down the line." So we need to really start from the top end, so it can actually be all the way through the company. And this is what the customer experience should be about. It should be about the employees, how their experience is the company. It should be about the vision, the mission, being inspired to all want to do the same thing, so they can then deliver exceptional customer service to their customers.
Right, right, right. Okay, when this becomes a challenge to you that you have to convince senior managements about this vision, that this is how you actually need to do the customer experience, this is how you have to handle it. I think, not always all managements are open to doing things starting from the top. They think there are set departments and certain people who are responsible to take care of it. How do you overcome those challenges? Are you successful always, and what percentage of senior management people listen to you?
None. I am actually, it's funny enough, I'm launching in the next few weeks a new program which is called Caring by Caring. I can't even say it myself. Caring service culture. So what I want to try to do is, you know, create that care into the service that we deliver. So
Uh-huh.
it's about bringing an energy where we actually listen to our customers, listen to our employee, where where we bring more compassion, where we have receptiveness to all those kind of things. So I've written a book. I hope you don't mind me mentioning
Oh,
it.
wonderful,
I've
wonderful.
written a book called Thriving by Caring 2 or 3 months ago.
Uh-huh.
And this is what it's all about. Those are the 10 steps that really businesses should follow to bring that more caring energy. So the businesses nowadays I've got very masculine energy. Let's do the sales. Let's do this. Let you go there. You do that. And I'm saying, whoa, 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 whoa. Let's pause a little bit. We need to start actually asking people how they are, how they're feeling, what emotion, how connected are they with a company, whether it's the employees or whether it's the customers. If you don't care or value your employees, they will never deliver that exceptional customer experience. So all those steps are about stepping back from that very, very masculine energy that is in business and actually starting, really caring for people. and generally wanted to do what's right for them. So whether it's the CEO or whether it's the, chambermaid doing the bedrooms, everybody should
Right.
have the same, wish to actually, care for their customers.
Right, right. So whatever you just said finally translates to voice of the customer. Am I right?
To finally translate to what, sorry?
Voice of the customer.
So the voice of the customers is actually when it's actually listening to what the customers have to say. So, when we do market research, it's actually, say instead of launching a new product, actually listen to your customers and ask them, is that what you want?
Right.
That's what the market research is all about. It's about really listening. But there's no point to do a market research if we actually don't listen to what our customers says.
True.
So, it's about, so the voice of the customer is about giving you as a business some feedback so you can actually do something about it and make your customer feel good because you've actually actioned what they said. It's the same with the employees. There's no point to do an employee survey, a satisfaction survey, asking them for their opinion if no one does anything about it. And
True.
it's just
True.
put on the shelves. So let's think about it. If we're doing a market research, if we're doing a survey, what are the steps? How receptive are we as a business owner, as a CEO, to actually look at the feedback and say, okay, what we're doing is not right. How can we make it right? Or what we're doing is really good. How we can make it even better? So there's a lot to actually take in, to actually not only listen to the voice of the customers, but actually do something with it.
Do something with it, right? This is a
Mm.
question now that just comes to mind after listening to you. Uh, Companies conduct researches, they do a lot of studies, they field studies, and they do so much, and finally accumulate huge amounts of data. They come up with
Mm.
huge amounts of data, piles and piles of it. But then again, also I hear a common issue problem. What do we do with this data,
Yeah,
right?
and
So,
yeah, it's exactly the problem that they having as well as businesses. They're being kind of forced or pushed into doing those analysis, but as a business or as an operation team, they do not have the resources or the knowledge to actually deal with them. So it's kind of they're throwing out money doing those researches and putting them on the shelves, and he looks pretty. This has got a nice title, and he looks good. We've ticked the box. We've
mhm,
done the market
done
research,
the
but
market
then
research.
they're not doing anything with it. So
Not
you
right.
know, let's think about it. Do something less, but do something more afterwards, and that's the
True,
best way
true.
to do it.
True, true. This is just my feeling about how this research works, and I mean how these studies are conducted and how data is gathered. I'm not sure if I'm 100% correct. I'm just asking you. This is my question to you. All the data that comes in and they gather all the information from the market, it's just because there are too many stakeholders within the organization from various different departments with various different goals and objectives and various different, I mean, everybody has a different vision of how it needs to be used, what needs to be done with it. Is that because of that clash that they're not able to sit together and come up with a common idea how that needs to be used and how the data needs to be translated into something actionable?
Yeah, I think again, it comes back to what we were saying at the beginning. If the business as a whole has a mission and a vision and values, and all this is really strong and really implanted inside the business, and everybody, all the employees knows that's where they're going, and there's the vision, and that's where we're all going at the same time, and that's how all the leaders and the managers take them, there wouldn't be that problem. The problem is they're not aligned to what the visions and missions and values of the businesses. So they're all trying to do their own things in silos instead of working as one
True.
towards what they're trying to achieve.
So, in your experience, whom have you seen to be the most receptive people in the organization who listen to you?
Um, I think that, again, at this level, there's the managers at the operation levels are trying to do things, because I'm working with a lot of the operation in terms of the mystery shopping results and surveys that we're doing. So they want to they see things that's happening. They can see how they could change it, but they haven't got they're not giving out the opportunity. They're not empowered to actually make those changes from the top.
True,
And that's
true.
why my real kind of aspiration for this year is to actually go to the next stage and actually get to the kind of board level and saying, right, we really need to address this. Are your customers, are your stakeholders, are they on your board? Are they in your paper? Do you talk about it? Do you have a specific minutes about this so you can actually tell, put some strategic plan so you can give it out to all your managers and they all know what they should be doing?
Right, right. And also a little bit from my experience, in my own experience, I've seen, the buck stop at the manager telling me, my boss needs to authorize this. You know what? I totally agree with what you do. I mean, what you say is 100% useful. This is the way we need to do it. But my boss has to sanction. He's the sanctioning authority. So it stops there. So probably the boss doesn't have the vision of the person who does that customer facing, performs those customer facing responsibilities. So that's one area where, we take no as an answer most often.
No, absolutely. Yes. So, and I think that's why we need to kind of really it's exciting, and I think a lot of new businesses now seeing it happening and doing things, but it needs to be much stronger. A lot more businesses needs to do it, and there's a lot of customer experience experts out there, and we're all kind of singing from the same hymn sheet. So that's great, because the more noise we can make about it and saying, at your level, you are the ones who are making the decision. You're the one who are making your business work or not. So, put your customers and your employees in the middle of everything that you do, and not, anywhere else. Otherwise, you just can't, you're going to lose your whole business. It's the spiral up and the spiral down.
Right, right.
If you look after if your environment is well and your employees are feeling good, they will want to be here, they will be happy, they will be engaged, they will be inspired, they will deliver exceptional customer service, they will go, and then that's the spiral up. And the spiral down, well, no one cares, they're not being valued, they're feeling sick, so you've got rise on sickness. Your marketing cost is higher because your customers don't want to spend any money with you. They're not recommending you. So that's kind of the spiral down. And it just seems to be so simple, but it doesn't mean that it is simple. And I think that's probably the frustration in what we do is people think customer experience, oh yes, it's so simple. We'll do a bit of customer service training, they'll be fine.
Right.
And it's not just this.
It's
much more than this.
Right. So from all those years that you have worked in customer experience and research, what has it been more of B2C or B2B or a mix?
Probably I've been working more or less just with B2Bs really since I've set up the business.
B2Bs,
So,
okay.
Yes. So really helping the companies so they can help their customers. So the companies are then, we can look at their different areas of where they are this moment in time, look at the gaps that's, they may have missing, put some new strategic plan in it, and then really kind of empower them to actually then do it themselves.
Right. What do you think about 2019? This seems to be a year which is kind of more customer focused, and since there's been a lot of talk about it, a lot of plans happening and a lot of preparation happening over the last few years, we have seen. So 2019 is going to be more about customer studies. I mean, directly studying the customer. Things like journey maps, things like behavioral research, things like aftermarket. Do you think that's the route you would be taking too? Or these are things you will be involved too?
Yes, so I mean, I want to take it a little bit further because really when you're looking at a business, the environment of the business will make people feel good or not feel good, right? So if you've got an environment which is no, there's no lights, it's dirty, it's cluttered,
Hmm.
your employees will walk in there and they don't feel like they want to
No.
work. They don't feel that the whole feeling of the environment actually affect how people behave. So for me, it's about looking at the environment and how can we make a more harmonious environment so your employees feel better, and looking after the employees first. And I know we talk about a lot of customer experience, but we need to put the employees' experience first
First.
before the customer experience. Because if your
True.
employees are not looked after, they're never going to deliver
True. True.
that
True.
customer service.
So.
So looking at the environment, how can we make that environment a more harmonious, a more empowering environment to work in? How can we really create some touch points and journey for our employees, so
Mhm.
we can really give them some tools and really give them the training that they need to be able to deliver, and
Mhm.
then we can go into the customer experience. And actually, once those two steps are working, the customers will just walk in. They'll feel good in your shop, or they'll feel good in your environment.
Mhm.
They'll want to recommend you to friend and family. They'll talk about it on social media,
Mhm.
and you've got a winning solution.
True. 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 Agreed. 100%. Do you also, I mean, conduct, say, things like workshops, trainings, apart from the field researches that you do, or the facility researches that you do? I
Sure,
mean,
sure, absolutely.
what is the mix?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's very important. Again, I come back to training. I know I talk a lot about training. I go on a bit about it, but I just think a lot of people just send their staff to a 3 hours customer service training, and they think that's it. They've done it for the whole year. That's they're trained. Training should be there should be a real big emphasis about training. It should be planned. It should be done every month, every week, every hour, every day, so the employees have that kind of backup. So I know it's not easy to do for operation managers, but if they have a plan and they're doing it's become a habit rather than it's becoming a chore. It has to become a habit, so they're all thinking the same way. I mean, I've always think, for me, just it comes naturally.
Hmm.
Well, it may come naturally to me, but it may not come naturally to somebody
To
else, and we
somebody
are
else,
all
right?
very different. So for managers, for directors, they need to understand we are all their employees individually are very different. So you need to adapt this as much as you can to the employees, and how their inner world affect the way they deliver things. So there's a lot of things that can be done nowadays, and we bring a lot of when I do workshops, my new program will bringing a lot of that, a lot of NLP technique
Okay.
that we can bring into the workshop, so we can really understand, as manager, they can understand their employees better, and so they can work with them better.
Hmm.
That's a really important way. The communication is really important. Teamwork. This is, if you don't communicate, it's never going to work. So we do a lot of those kind of technique, but we're bringing also some ways of mindfulness. For bringing a bit more being present in what we're doing, listening to our customers mindfully. And actually bringing those kind of techniques so they don't feel so stressed, and they can feel a bit more relaxed and confident in what they do. And then I'll bring a lot of technique in the environment psychology as well. So how the environment affect people, and how can you make the environment a better place to be. So not only you've got the basic kind of customer service or the customer experience with the journey, the touch points, sales technique, but in what I do in the workshops I do and the program that I do, I bring a lot more that holistic approach, where we
Approach.
can
Right.
actually work hand in hand with the business for a whole year, and actually take them through the steps. Because it's great to do market research, it's great to do a mystery shopping program, but if you leave them with the results and they don't know what to do with it, it's a real waste of time. So instead of that, the new program is about walking with them and actually holding their hand for a whole year, so they can then take it to the next level.
Right, right, right. All these years that you've been in research on the customer experience side, uh, how have companies responded? I mean, what results have they got with your involvement in their product, in their exercise, and how have you actually helped? Has it helped them change something drastically? What has been the effect?
Yeah, I think when I started was 2009, so it was right in the middle of the recession, which a lot of people say, Claire, you're crazy, don't do it. um, and at that time, I was saying, well, if businesses are not going to look after their customers now, that is the recession. They're never going to be in business when the recession finishes. So
Uh-huh.
for me, it was kind of a perfect opportunity to actually say, oi, you need to look after your employees and your customers.
Right.
And a lot of the things that again we're starting with the mystery shopping was it's a tool, it's a metric, isn't it? The mystery shopping. We've seen a lot of changing in terms of how what are the results we're trying to achieve, and from very much the yes or no questions that we used to really ask at the beginning, when we used to do questionnaire, we're now working with the company to understand a lot more of what the emotional connection is.
Hmm.
How did you feel about this? How did that, how did you feel when you heard this, or did you touch this? So so it's a lot more. We bring a lot more of the emotional connection, and again it comes back to that kind of feminine energy. Shopping is a very emotional thing
Emotional
to
thing,
do.
right?
People
Experience.
shop because they love it, they want to feel good, so you're touching that emotional connection. So we need to change, businesses need to change the same time as their customers, and if anything they need to change even before their customers know what they want. They need to be able to listen and predict what they're going to be able to give them, and make that experience a wow experience, and thinking, oh wow, I wasn't expecting that. So when you're working with the businesses from the beginning, it was very much metrics and analytic, whereas now it's a lot more on the emotional connections. It's a lot more on how your customers are going to be feeling, how your employees, how you're treating them, and that will change. It's a big change as well for big companies, larger companies, and smaller companies to really kind of get into that thinking of caring for the people before caring for their bottom lines, if you see what I mean.
Right, right, right. Now, Claire, this is important. Uh, what advice do you have for businesses? And also, at the end, just let us know how to reach you.
Okay, cool. Yes. So my thing it is about really generally bringing some more caring energy into your businesses. So and whether we're talking to businesses, but it could be your own market research companies who are listening to that. Do you do that yourself? Do you
Hmm.
actually bring more care into your businesses? How do you treat your employees? How do they feel when they come to you?
Hmm.
What are the process that you actually put in place to make them feel that they want to stay with you? I know there's a lot of things in terms of recruitment, and the staff are moving from one company to the other because they get paid a little bit more. But
Hmm.
actually, if you really cared, and if they felt that you're valuing their services, they wouldn't be jumping from one job to the other. So that caring is so important. So caring for the environment, caring for the employees, and so they can care for their customers. That's my top tip.
Right. Well said. Well said. Well said. Claire, thank you so much for the time you spent with us
Thank
today on
you.
the interview. It was really wonderful
Okay.
having you here.
If
Uh,
you want to reach me, then you can check out claireboscott.com.
sure.
Claire Boscott, BOSCQSCOTT.com, claireboscott.com. And then this is the whole thing about the program, the Caring Service Culture Program. And it's also my book, which
Book.
you can get on Amazon. You can get on Audible as well, which is really cool. I've done it, so you can download your Audible book if you want to. So Yeah, and
Sure.
Facebook, obviously, LinkedIn. I'm on all over the social media.
Oh, no problem. That would be wonderful. Actually, probably you could just add in a line here. See, once this video goes on your page, it's uploaded. Probably as can you post your contact information below so that all
Sure,
those who read can actually touch base with you as and when needed. So,
absolutely.
right, that would actually help if anybody anyone has questions, because when they respond or comment, I and you both would get to know their questions. We can see it there, right? So you can respond if it's a question for you. I can respond if it's a question for me. So that's how it's going to be. So
Fabulous.
thank you so much, Claire. Thanks for
Thank
being with me.
you.
And guys, this is not the last time we are going to meet Claire. We're going to meet her in future too on a different topic. She has agreed to be with us on the show on a different topic. I'm going to bring her in. So probably,
Yeah, I'm in now.
yeah, we'll just probably in a few weeks, maybe 2 or 3 weeks or 4 weeks, whatever we can work out in a schedule. She will be here with answering different questions, and very important questions like the ones she answered today. So feel free to post in your comments and your questions once this video is posted. Claire and I will be happy to respond. And also, as Claire said, you can reach her on her website if you have any questions directing only, maybe confidential or directed only towards for Claire. So thank you very much. And I hope the show has been very informative and useful to you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Claire.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.